Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7, where we are slowly inching our way across the Masters Championship finish line. We did a lot better last time than we did the one time before that. We did pretty well with the Sport Compacts, especially against the off-road buggies, which has definitely slowed us down. Let's see, we can do the GT Racing Reborn, which is a total of 10 cars. Classic Street Muscle. Oh, by the way, I say total of 10 cars. I'm trying to focus on sets that have larger varieties of vehicles. Like, you look at this one, the Forza P2, only one car is available. So everybody's going to be driving the same vehicle. It's not as interesting. Same goes with the Formula Mazda Spec. So really, I should be focusing on these two. Let us do a GT.
These cars were built out of a deeply creative interpretation of the rules and regulations, leading to flared fenders, wild aerodynamics, and unrestricted engines that send power through the roof.
GT Racing Reborn. All right. So let us take the Pioneer. No, we want more power. We want to be closer to 625. So it looks like we're going to have to take the Merkur or the Nissan. Let's take the Nissan. Slap on some mods. Let's remove this one because there's no rain. There wasn't any rain the time before that. Let's throw that one down. In third place or better, we will hope for the best. But if the best isn't good enough, at the very least we can come in second, or even third. These are options. I'm giving myself options on how to succeed. First turn is very short, very quick, and to the left. That's very rude of you for cutting so far ahead in front of me. I'm gonna have to get used to this car's handling. Wow. Without driving on the grass. I probably should avoid that. Also, this one definitely accelerates very fast. My kryptonite, as I've stated on multiple occasions, is fast cars. Alright, we're in fourth place. Unfortunately, that stunt I just pulled has given the first place driver some room to breathe. But that's fine, because we've got 2 and let's say a quarter laps to catch up. And then we've got a very sudden turn coming up. I think I might be able to pass by. There we go, yes. All right. Third place, and about, I guess not even 2 1/4 back then. Now is probably closer to 2 1/4. But yeah, at 175 miles, 180 capped miles per hour, this is going to be a tough race for me. I might actually have to... As I was saying my concern out loud, I might actually have to pay attention to the brake line. Well before... Let's do that again. I was wondering whether I could actually recover from this terrible, terrible turn. And I forget that this turn actually comes in several parts. That it's not just kind of like a single turn left and you're done. It's more like you turn left and then you turn left. And then you turn left again. Also, things have cropped up in my life. So it's been a few days since I've actually played this game. So I've got to get back into the driver's seat. We're in second place. Let's say 1 1/3 laps to go. Alright. I'm definitely going to have to be careful in regards to turns that are coming up, especially for the rest of the set, because this is way faster than the compact cars. And most of what I've been driving with, actually, to be fair. See, that's a more responsible turn. Everything except the ending there. Let's see if we can do this first turn without having to rewind. I think I've had to rewind twice now. In this particular race. For this particular turn. The trouble is, sometimes it's kind of hard to see the brake line because, like, I'm already going so fast. And anytime you're kind of going uphill... I also find that the more that I play this game, I tend to pay less and less attention to the mini-map. And I think part of it is also due to the speed of the vehicle. When you're going so fast, like, it's hard to kind of divert your attention to something else, even if being able to know the track ahead of time is fairly important. Alright. I think we're pretty set for the rest of this particular race, because the only things left are the inside run of this curve, a little bit of a sharp turn, not too much. But a little bit. And everybody's just kind of falling behind. But just, like, considering how many times I've done this particular track, like, you just have to be able to respect the speed of your vehicle. And the difference that speed makes. Like, having to start slowing down from so far away makes for a bigger change than I'm necessarily used to, but it is something I'm going to have to pay attention to, especially as I go on through this set. Ah, for a second there I was wondering if I had even bothered to set mods. It had been so long ago, since the beginning of the race. Alright, let's swap in top 5 and top 3. And then we're also going to buy... We're definitely not buying perform 8 perfect turns in one race. I appreciate their confidence in me, but I cannot bring that. Actually, maybe I could, because there are plenty of circumstances where I find myself doing perfect turns on accident. The entire idea, though, of me doing 8 accidental perfect turns over the course of one race, like, it would have to be an endurance race. No doubt about that. Excellent first turn. Terrible third turns. Alright. Next thing up is going to be a very sharp turn to the right. Sorry about that. Alright. No. No. My car is losing a bit of its grip on the ground, and also the second and first place drivers are getting a little bit farther away than I'd like. I've got about, let's say, 1 1/3 laps to go. And I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to catch up with them. But I do feel like I am getting slightly closer. Slightly. Oh yeah, and then there's this turn. Which has always kind of given me a bit of trouble in the past. I don't think I necessarily did that one too spectacularly. But I'm not necessarily worried about doing this course perfectly, because at the rate I'm going right now... Ooh, I have a chance to, improve over my first attempt. I mean, I guess that's an improvement. Oh, nope, nope. That was an improvement until I drove over the grass. So even if I get in 6th place for the entire set, how very rude of you. Let me rephrase. If I get into 1st place for the entire set, I still have to do one more set to progress. If I get into 6th place for this entire set, sorry about that. I still have to just do one more set, regardless. So, I'm not terribly concerned in regards to how well I do. That said, I'm still going to try my best, which is clearly not enough for this particular race. Although I admit, this track I've never really done particularly well. There's like a balance between speed and handling that this track requires that I've never quite really been able to wrap my head around. There are certain problem areas that have been consistent problem areas that I've been just kind of doing better over time. Like, I think that is a slightly better turn, but doesn't quite matter. We are in 3rd. Alright. Alright, got an achievement for getting a whole bunch of cash via mods. I have enough money to buy it. I'll buy it. Even though it looks kind of dumb. Alright, it's promising rain this time. Let's see if it'll actually show up. Oh, and I also didn't bother buying any new mods. So let us go do that real quick-like once the race finishes loading. Race at night. Sure, why not? I can perform a good pass. I've managed that before in my life. And I believe the first turn was to the right. Also, I chose this because I felt everybody would be driving different cars, but it looks like most people are driving the same car. Except for like a couple. Alright. Third place, not a bad place to start. Ah, son of a... I was trying to pass you on the left. Stop. Let's rewind that. Because I don't want to have to worry about pulling myself out of the sand pits. That seems like way more trouble than it's worth. Basically, if I didn't rewind there, I'm providing excuses now for why I'm using the rewind feature. Which is interesting, that I would feel that way, to some extent, considering how many games necessarily rely themselves on checkpoints. That I would suddenly consider this game immune to the idea that, immune to that concept, that it needs to be the perfect run every single time. But yeah, like if I just rewound there, then the first place driver would just have even more of a lead. I think one of the issues with that I've run into in regards to this game is that the competition, like whoever's in first place, pretty much stays in first place every single race. A little bit wider than I'd like. The competition never really is able to catch up. The other drivatars never are really able to catch up with the first place driver. So if they're never ever actually able to catch up with the first place driver, like how does the game necessarily expect myself to do so? But then, that's necessary. I'm not necessarily thinking about it in regards to that regard. It makes me kind of wonder exactly how much variation the difficulty has because of the drivatars, and how much difficulty could be implanted into the game, or should I say variation of difficulty. For example, one classic multiplayer game that friends of mine and I Alright, people are passing us by. That friends of mine and I had played was Perfect Dark. In Perfect Dark, you can play against bots, which was useful, because once we were done shooting each other, we could at the very least shoot against the bots. And that provided variety. You can also set the bots to different types of personalities. Like, you can have a bot that only punches people to steal items. You have a bot that only uses explosives. And I feel as the more I play this game, like a lot of the AI in this game, it doesn't necessarily do much different from each other. Like, the idea of the drivatars are supposed to be so that, like, the way that I drive fuels the AI in other people's games who are friends of mine. So it's kind of like stories that are written by AI. You feed the AI an algorithm, so to speak, and the AI creates something based on what you feed it. Usually terrible. But in theory, like, I drive differently from my friends, and my friends drive differently from each other. So in theory, their drivatars should have something that varies each of them from each other. That said, this assumes that my friends have also been playing the game. And I'm pretty sure that of the 10 people who I'm currently racing against, most of them have not played Forza Motorsport 7. One of them I know hasn't, because all he does is play Fallout 76. Or at the very least, I can confidently say. Either way, most likely there is a case to be made that certain people that I'm driving against, their drivatars were developed based on no experience. Potentially all of them. Which would explain why the AI more or less behaves very similar to each other. They all kind of just race the line. They don't really display anything besides that. But then again, if I wanted variety in my racing, well, I know where you can send me, to the online multiplayer aspect of this game, and then actually race against other racers, rather than race against simulations of other racers. But one, my confidence isn't necessarily good enough for that. Two, my internet isn't good enough for that. And three, that's not exactly, like... My goal here is to play through the main game. What didn't work? It didn't rain. Again. What is stopping the rain from happening? It didn't rain this time, even though it promised rain. It didn't rain last time that it promised rain. I'm thinking the weatherman, the weather person is not doing a very good job. Did I buy any of these? Yes. No, I did not. Stay on the track for 1 lap. You know, I might be able to do that for 1 lap. I can't promise to do it for multiple laps, but for 1 lap, maybe. And the first turn is to the right. But it would also kind of explain why everybody's kind of like, there's so many people driving the same cars. Because there's no library of cars for the game to pull from. So it kind of just hands them a default. Default ride for their experience. Also, I think whatever car I picked has a severely higher horsepower than the people I'm driving against. That was a nice attempt, but it did not succeed. All right. That was a pretty good run. Straight from 11th to first place fairly quickly. 11th to like 3rd or 2nd very fast. And then right past the first place driver in no time at all. Now I just have to hold on to this for 1.5 more laps, I think. But unfortunately, I'm not particularly good at these turns. But if I block off the racing line, essentially, perhaps the AI just won't know what to do, except hit me from the back, and then cause me to spin out, and then pass me by. That seems to work for the AI. So maybe the AI knows exactly what to do. But I'll hope that doesn't happen. Oh, and then there's a very, very... They navigated that turn a little bit better than I was expecting. Good job, AI partners. Unfortunately, I'm not doing, I'm not gaining enough of the lead, but as long as as long as I don't make mistakes, I should be fine. Hell, I haven't even been paying attention to the leaderboard now. Simply because, like, my goal has changed. The leaderboard is out of reach. Or should I say, it's not going to affect my progress. So I suppose I'm still approaching this game in a similar fashion to any other single-player game. You have scores you have to beat in order to complete certain sections in order to proceed. But I'm not doing too terribly with this super fast car. There are previous ones, previous sets that I've attempted, in which the super fast race car really threw me through a loop. And not even as fast as this car does. Like, this car goes up to like 180 miles an hour. Even just going at like 150 miles an hour was throwing me through a loop. So maybe experience has taught me the benefits of caution. When to hit the gas and when to not. To prevent your car from just sliding on all over. I don't know. Maybe by Forza Motorsport 10 or so, I'll consider myself fairly good at this game. Now, on that note, I believe I've said that it requires 2 requests. For me to raise the difficulty or lower the difficulty. I think that I'm going to turn down the next one and then accept the one after that. That's my goal. Alright. I think we're 4 tracks in? 2 more to go? I've lost count. Yes. 4 tracks in, 2 more to go. Let's slap on some mods. Place 5th or better. What's available from the shop? Perform 8 good turns. You know, I probably could do that. And I could probably, if I could do 8, I could probably do 6. All depends on how many laps I get to make those 8 good turns. Good turns, I have confidence that I could probably do. Perfect turns, not a chance. Here's a question. Does a perfect turn count as a good turn? Or is it too good of a turn? Like if you're challenging yourself to do good turns and you do perfect turns instead, that is not going to be my problem. Especially if that's my opening turn. Not exactly the best start. But we'll work on it. Luckily, everybody's kind of still... Everybody's kind of still clustered together. Sorry. Sorry about that. I'm not sorry now. Definitely not sorry now. Son of a... But yeah, the first place driver isn't exactly that far ahead. From me, so that's fine. But unfortunately, everybody seems to be doing this race fairly well. Which I do not appreciate. I do not appreciate their sudden showing of skill. Alright, 1 good turn in 2 laps. Less than. Ah, another one. All right. Okay, so I probably was a bit ambitious on the idea that I could do 8 good turns in one race. Okay, that actually went better than I was expecting. That went about as good as I would have expected for myself. Well, unfortunately, that did not do me any favors. Since I'm in 6th place, I'd like to get into... Let's try to at least get into 5th in the next, like, lap and a half. I think that's a good goal. Wow. Not doing that. Let's, that is not going to get us into any place, except the ditch. I was thinking that this, turn to the right was less sharp than it actually was, and gave me more space. But I clearly forgot how it went. Nope. Nope, that didn't work out for either of us. Let's try that again. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Again, not respecting the speed of the machine. It's like, it's nice that I want to try and overtake the people ahead of me, but it's not going to happen unless I actually respect the speed of this vehicle. And it also would help a little bit if I planned a little bit ahead. I haven't been doing much of that. I've been kind of playing it, I suppose, kind of close to how I tended to play chess. I didn't necessarily plan ahead. I just kind of did one move to the next and hope for the best. But this is a slightly faster game. Sorry about that. We could do that better. I disapprove of the fact that this Quattro was able to kind of have absolutely no impact from my crash and just... Let's try that again. Wow. Nope. Too far. We can do it. Fire? Why did it rewind me all the way back to there? I disapprove. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I keep trying to do my old tricks, but the old tricks do not work on super fast cars. Like, I might as well just accept my 4th place. Can I? No. Maybe? Ah, just barely. Yeesh. Yes, we will buy this free car. The next car is not free, but hopefully we'll actually have enough money to purchase it by the time we come around. Let's get rid of this for now, especially with this particular vehicle. We are going to keep... Let's see, what's here? Yeah. We'll definitely take that. So place 5th or better. We can do that, maybe. Braking line. Braking line. All right, 3 laps at 3.6 miles. Relatively normal length of a race. But 3.5 miles at 180 miles per hour. Well, we're not going to be going that fast the whole race. 3 miles at roughly 90 to 180 miles per hour. Oh my stars and garters. What on earth is going on over here? And have I also kind of given up on this race already? Potentially, or should I say lost this race already? Alright, but we're in 4th. That's a start. We only had to do 5th or better, so... And I honestly don't even remember where the leaderboard is at. But I'm sure I'm high up there, relatively. I don't know how well the other racers did and whether that actually will contribute to my success. Hello, 3rd place driver. If you don't mind me. Okay, that was a good turn for most of it. Towards the end, I seemed to falter. Well, let's try that again. I was hoping I was going to be able to get past this particular race without... Oh my gosh. Without rewinding. But I have failed myself. I will just have to live on in shame for the next 2 seconds. Then I'll be okay. But we'll... Oh my gosh. I was about to say we'll try to avoid having to rewind for the rest of this race. And I'm not going to be able to do that if I'm not actually paying attention. I think the problem with that previous section is I was trying to be a little bit... I was trying for something that required a greater degree of accuracy than I was capable of doing. Or should I say, the chances of my failure were greater than the chances of my success. It's not that I couldn't have done it, it's just I couldn't do it the first time. Either way, almost done with lap 2, we're in first place, everybody's behind us. Well, that's what first place is. I don't need to explain that. So, we are almost done with this set. Which is good. We've got one more set left for the Masters Championship, and then we can move on to the finale of this game. This will essentially be the first racing game that I've really kind of finished in quite a while. It's not I admit racing games, well, I don't even have to admit. You can see by my amazing playstyle that racing games generally aren't in my wheelhouse. But I can't necessarily deny the exhilaration. The gotta go fast mentality. Though I do admit that my brain more or less kind of shuts off a little bit, so I try to talk while also focusing on the turns, and it gets very, very tricky. And then you end up with really, really long spaces between sentences. So I suppose that's something that this game has that a lot of games that I've played haven't. Like even Doom Eternal. Like with Doom Eternal, I did not find myself constantly in situations where I had to increase my concentration. Rather, with Doom Eternal, it felt as though I had to kind of go through my options. As long as I was always aware of what I can do, and what I was trying to do. Like, in Doom Eternal, I'm constantly running in a loop around any particular stage, but that loop is almost unconscious. It doesn't necessarily require the attention, whereas this requires a lot of attention. Alright, first place. Fantastic. In the meantime, got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.